Live from Chicago, this is Fox 32 News at Noon.
Now at noon, we're just 2 days away from the Bears' playoff matchup against the Rams, and excitement is continuing to build throughout the city.
And off the field, Arlington Heights making a big push today to keep the Bears in Illinois.
And let's take you live outside. We had snow off and on again today. It'll be a frigid one on the field on Sunday. Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. I'm Natalie Baumke.
I'm Anthony Polce. I hope you're having a great Friday. Caitlin Cody is here with the forecast for not just the rest of the day today, but this big Bears weekend. Caitlin, take it away.
Well, all right, let's talk about today first. Right now, it's actually fairly mild. Temperatures today are going to be in the 30s. We have some lingering light snow around, so don't be surprised if you see some snowflakes. Not as heavy as we had this morning, though. Behind me, you can see how it has been deteriorating over the past hour or so. Now, we're not done with the snow. We have the potential all the way through until about 9 p.m. tonight for some additional snowfall, so we could see some icy spots on the roads. Slick conditions not out of the question. Temperatures right now, though, are ranging around freezing. It's 32 on the dot at O'Hare, 33 at Midway, and at the lakefront, 34 degrees in Gary. Freezing from Woodstock to 33 in Waukegan. Here's your day planner. So again, temperatures, they're going to feel pretty nice today, although the clouds, they're not going anywhere with that potential for snow. Our 3-day forecast. Let's talk about this weekend as we're creeping into the weekend. It's Friday. Tomorrow, temperatures are going to be right around 20 as our high. Now, we do have the chance for some snow around. Same thing on Sunday. Smaller potential by the time we get to the Bears game in the evening. A high of about 20. So the temperature during the game, I expect to be in the upper teens to about 20 degrees, but the feel-like temperature on Sunday during the game, single digits. So that's how you should dress. It's going to be a chilly one. We'll take a look at your full 7-day forecast, including how temperatures drop even more as we start off next week ahead.
Okay, we'll see you shortly. Caitlin, thank you very much. Look at this background.
Amazing.
I love it. I love it. And we are just now a little more than 48 hours away from the Bears' next playoff game. They're taking on the Rams. Soldier Field. City is pumped.
Obviously, and if the Bears win, they're going to move on to the NFC Championship game. Roseanne Tejas spoke to fans.
Well, Chicagoans are getting really pumped up for Sunday night's divisional playoff game. Fandemonium sweeping the city. We're seeing signs pop up everywhere.
Bear down, Chicago Bears. Fight for the mighty so fearlessly.
Monday, the Bears Monster Squad was getting fans revved up outside Union Station with the Leo High School choir, handing out bling and offering up selfies with Staley the Bear. Bears merch has been flying off shelves. One store telling us sales are up 500% from this time last year. And who knew cheese graters from home would come in handy at Soldier Field one day? Well, thank you, Brandon Martinez, for that idea. He's the fan scene shredding cheese from the stands, starting a whole new ritual for Bears-Packers games. But fans we talked to today are focused on Sunday and a great season so far for the Bears.
I'm really excited. As a lifelong Chicagoan, it's really great to see the Bears doing so well this season.
What do you say to the Bears players right now?
We're proud of you. We love you guys. Bear down. Make us proud.
I'm just hoping for more of this weather, and that way the LA Rams have to struggle a bit. I just want to see them go out. Hopefully not a comeback like it always is, a little bit more comfortable win this year.
You want to give your heart a break?
Yeah, I need a little bit of rest. I'm sweating it out over here, but it should be great.
Let's go Rams. Whose house?
Oh, no. But what about this weather? Are they going to...
Crazy. I don't know that they'll travel well. That's the thing I'm worried about. And in all seriousness, it will be cool even if the Bears do pull it out, even as a huge Rams fan, just for the city. So, yeah.
So while we're all cheering on our Chicago Bears on Sunday, that man is actually hosting a party at his house, and he'll be outnumbered, he said, for sure, by Chicago Bears fans. Roseanne Tejas, Fox Chicago.
And Fox Chicago, your destination for coverage of the Bears and Rams on Sunday. Bears Game Day Live, excuse me, starts at special time that day, 12:30. And once the game ends, we will have post-game reaction with Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, whole team. We're going to go right inside that locker room where hopefully a huge celebration is going to be underway.
Absolutely. Illinois officials all of a sudden playing defense on a new Chicago Bears stadium in Arlington Heights.
Yeah, this is leverage here. Indiana lawmakers have dramatically moved the ball forward in their plan to lure the team across state lines into Hoosier territory. political reporter Paris Schutz joining us here in studio with the latest on this.
Yeah, Anthony and Natalie, you know how momentum plays such a big role in these games. Well, off the field, it looks like Indiana is gaining the momentum right now. And today, the mayor of Arlington Heights joined members of organized labor to plead with lawmakers and the governor to take control of this negotiation and get a deal done here in Illinois. Mayor Jim Tenaglia of Arlington Heights is urging lawmakers to pass a, quote, mega projects bill. It would give the Bears the ability to negotiate property taxes years into the future with Arlington Heights. And that would give them some certainty on what their bill is going to be. Without it, the mayor says, the Bears could be facing property tax bills every year in the hundreds of millions of dollars.
These are numbers that are not marketable. They could never finance a project like that. And then if anything were to happen, they could never sell it. There's no buyer for that. So the number has to be tolerable. Just like you would not design your own home or your own office building knowing that your tax bill is going to be out of control, you'll back off and either cancel the project or redesign something smaller. They don't have a choice to redesign something smaller, but they could leave the state.
And Indiana has heard that. Last night, representatives from the Indiana governor's office unveiled legislation that would essentially have a new state authority own a stadium in Northwest Indiana. That means the state would finance it. They would allow the Bears to keep a lot of the revenue, and the Bears would owe $0 in taxes every single year. Now, the Bears would have the ability to own their stadium when the debt is paid off. For all intents and purposes, it's a sweetheart deal. Governor Pritzker and Illinois leaders have rejected the Bears to pass the tax certainty legislation here. They say it gives tax breaks to billionaires while regular folks are suffering under the weight of high costs. But do lawmakers now feel added pressure given Indiana's proposal?
And I believe it's best for the Bears to stay in the state of Illinois. I've always said that. I do not think the fans, want the Chicago Bears to be based anywhere else except in the state of Illinois. And frankly, at this moment, I think we all ought to be thinking about crushing the Rams and not talking about a stadium. So.
Well, we're talking about both. So contrast the two plans. Here in Illinois, the Bears pay for the stadium. They own it. They pay taxes. Indiana, they don't pay for much of the construction. They don't own the stadium, and they don't pay taxes. What's the better deal here, Natalie and Anthony? Financially, it looks like Indiana would save the Bears a lot of money.
Indeed.
Well, and I'm not a finance expert, so I can't answer that question, but you can answer this one. Do you think the Bears are serious about Indiana, or is this just a ploy maybe to get Chicago and the state of Illinois to play ball?
I think the Bears have made no bones about the fact that Arlington Heights is where they want to go. But I don't think it's just leverage. I think they're very interested. They wanted to see what Indiana would offer them. They've looked at the sites. They want to see if this deal makes sense. Clearly, financially, they will save lots of money. But will that be offset by fewer fans wanting to make the trek out to Northwest Indiana? And Anthony, I think if you're going to the state of Indiana to watch football, it's to watch those unbelievable Hoosiers. You know?
That's a good point.
Also,
I'll be watching both teams on Sunday and Monday.
We should send Anthony to Miami on Monday for the national championship.
I hope that they're listening. Paris, thank you, sir. Keep us posted.
All right.
All right, 12:08. We got some breaking news to get to right now. Another one of FBI Chicago's most wanted is off the list. Early this morning, FBI agents and Riverdale police arrested Antonio Stigler. He was on the run for fatally shooting a pregnant woman back in October of 2024. The shooting took place in the backyard of a home in Riverdale. Investigators say neither Stigler nor the victim lived where the shooting occurred. Few details are available as to how or why the shooting happened there. The FBI was offering a $10,000 reward for info leading to his arrest. This is a developing story. We're going to have the very latest info on our news at 4 o'clock.
Cicero police say they have arrested someone for the shooting death of 17-year-old Johan Otterve Sanchez. Sanchez was killed on January 8th. He was a student at Morton East High School. Police say the suspect is also 17, but they are not a Morton East student. Investigators say the shooting happened because of a fight between rival groups of teens. 3 former DePaul basketball players among the dozens of athletes charged in a point-shaving scheme. 39 athletes, including Jalen Terry, Deshaun Nelson, and Macabre Etienne were named in the indictment. Prosecutors claim dozens of games were fixed over the last 2 seasons. Former Chicago Bulls player Antonio Blakeney accused of recruiting the players, who were apparently making between $10,000 and $30,000 per game, to underperform. We spoke with an expert on Good Day Chicago on why college athletes could be susceptible to something like this.
The money isn't as big in college, right? Professional contracts are at a minimum millions of dollars for the most part. College athletes are making tens of thousands, perhaps hundreds of thousands. So $10,000, $20,000 bribes go a lot further. So college athletes are more accessible to the general public and also making less money, which could make them easier to influence.
A DePaul spokesperson calls those allegations deeply disappointing and confirms that no current student athletes were members of the 2023-2024 team. They go on to say, quote, the university has a long-standing commitment to educating our athletics community about the dangers and consequences of sports gambling.
People in Will County are demanding action after a deadly school bus crash in Manhattan. Fire officials say the bus and a car collided at the intersection of Manhattan-Monee Road and Kankakee Road Thursday morning. 10 students from District 114 were on that bus. The driver of the car was killed. Manhattan residents tell us that they have actually been complaining about that very intersection for a long time, but that nothing has changed.
All the time. I mean, there's accidents, not necessarily right here, but these intersections, we're always seeing flashing lights and emergency vehicles.
Several times a year.
Yeah, this year there's been more than usual. A lot of Lifestar flights. There was one recently over there, and there was another one over here a couple of months back.
And the cause of that crash is under investigation.
New this morning, Governor Pritzker has just signed the Clean Slate Act into law. This major bill requires law enforcement agencies to automatically seal eligible criminal records every 6 months. It benefits more than 2 million Illinoisans who are eligible to have their records sealed. The law also gives those with prior convictions easier access to employment, education, and housing opportunities. The law officially goes into effect later this year.
Bally's is pushing back the opening of its new $1.7 billion casino in Chicago. The problem here involves licenses, and the license to operate at Medina Temple expires in September. The Chicago Tribune reports that State Rep Cam Buckner introduced a bill on Thursday that will give Bally's a 12-month extension on that license while it finishes construction, which means the River West location wouldn't be ready until 2027. It was supposed to open late this year.
More news here on Fox 32 News at noon. And, you know, many of us fear getting attacked by sharks when we go in the water at the beach.
Yeah, why scientists say their teeth are actually getting weaker.
And in addition to that, President Trump threatening to invoke the Insurrection Act as protests continue over a deadly ICE shooting there. A local law professor weighs in on that possibility.
Our dad, John.
Welcome back. More than 24 Democrats are in Minnesota today. They're holding a shadow hearing on what they call President Trump's deadly assault on Minnesota. That's their phrasing there. That's a reference to the administration's crackdown on violent illegal immigrants.
Now President Trump is threatening to invoke the rarely used Insurrection Act to send troops into that state as protests continue over the growing presence of ICE agents. Caroline Shively has more.
Minnesota bracing for more ICE protests this weekend after President Trump threatened to invoke the Insurrection Act and send in the military. More than 20 House Democrats responded Friday with a shadow hearing in St. Paul.
People have been indiscriminately shoved in the streets, pushed into oncoming traffic, and nearly hit by buses.
This pattern of reckless, even lethal use of force cannot continue.
These actions left unchallenged could mean you're next.
President Trump said he would send in troops or federalize the National Guard if protesters continue to attack federal immigration agents.
And that certainly is within the president's constitutional authority to use that if he thinks he needs to keep people safe.
The protests have exploded in Minneapolis since a federal agent shot and killed anti-ICE protester Renee Good on January 7th after she clipped him with her SUV. On Thursday, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz posted on X in a direct appeal to the president to turn the temperature down. The White House is pushing back.
All ICE and federal law enforcement are trying to do are remove people like this off of the streets of Governor Walz's city in Minneapolis and of his state in Minnesota.
Minnesota community leaders have declared next Friday as their day of truth and freedom, urging people not to go to work, school, or shopping statewide. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox Chicago.
The Insurrection Act has been invoked 30 times in the nation's history, and yesterday we did speak with the UIC legal scholar, Stephen Schwinn. Schwinn says, while the images in Minnesota are dramatic, they don't warrant invoking the act.
The courts are going to defer heavily to the judgment of the president in this regard, but based on everything that I've seen coming out of Minneapolis and Minnesota more generally, there's no call for invoking the Insurrection Act here. The triggers just are not implicated. There's no rebellion, there's no insurrection, there's nothing even close to that. And moreover, to the extent that there is, violence or unrest in Minneapolis, for example, many would argue it's the federal government's own doing.
Interestingly, the Insurrection Act was invoked here in Chicago in the late 1800s to break a nationwide railroad workers' strike.
One of Iran's top clerics is calling for the death penalty for protesters detained during a nationwide crackdown. It comes after the country said it would hold off on killing protesters in response to a threat from President Trump. In the meantime, a U.S. aircraft carrier is heading towards the Middle East that could help the U.S. launch an attack. Now, even though it is not there yet, military experts say the U.S. could act at a moment's notice.
Yes, we could do it. We may not be able to do it at the scale we did before Ready, Set, Go, but I believe we could go in there, disrupt their command and control, shut down their ability to respond, and make significant strikes.
Officials say it could take a week for that carrier strike group to reach the Middle East.
U.S. forces have seized another sanctioned oil tanker in the Caribbean. The White House says this is tied to Venezuela, and this is now the 6th tanker that the U.S. has captured as part of an effort to take control of Venezuela's oil. The International Maritime Organization's database shows the ship was previously registered in Russia. Meantime, Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado has given President Trump her Nobel Peace Prize medal. She called it recognition for his unique commitment to the country's freedom. Trump called it a gesture of mutual respect. The president has never backed Machado, though, as a leader. He has even questioned her credibility to take over. Right now, Maduro's former vice president, Nicolas Maduro's former vice president, is in charge of the country.
The city getting pumped up for the Bears playoff game this weekend against the Rams. And of course, the Wiener Circle has put up another funny message on its sign. The hot dog joint posted this photo on social media. It says, "Coming Sunday, Silence of the Rams." That's a reference, of course, to the Oscar-winning film, The Silence of the Lambs.
Indeed, Clarice. Okay, 12:19. Caitlin,
yes.
It's going to be cold out there for Bears fans actually heading to Soldier Field.
We were talking to a previous Bear player.
Yes, Israel Donahue. Yeah.
With Chicago now, and he gave us so many tips, by the way, about the game that I want to relay. One of them, you got to be loud.
Yes.
He said that really distracts the other players because they can't hear what their teammates are saying. They can't hear the coach. They have to get really close to each other. So that kind of will take away one of their senses. So we got to get loud. Also, of course, being cold, he said it distracts them. They got to get back to their jackets. So let's start off with the Bears forecast, because if you are headed to the game, or maybe you're just going to be out celebrating. Oh, I got to go this way. Excuse me. Temperatures are going to be right around 20 degrees to start. That's going to be our high for the day. But as we work our way through the game, we're going to have the potential for a few snowflakes around. The bigger story, though, of course, being the temperatures. As we drop down into the teens, feel like temperature during the Bears game is going to be in the single digits. Now let's talk about today. Because it's Friday, we still have a couple of days to enjoy before we get to Bears Sunday. Well, right now we still have a few snowflakes out there. Most of this is going to be flurry activity, though. And we're not done with the snow. We have more snow loading up to our west that is going to bring us the potential for some slick spots during your evening commute. A closer look at satellite radar shows that we all have the clouds in place, a few breaks here or there. But really, we are going to have mild temperatures with generally quiet conditions outside of that light snow. Right now, it is 33 degrees outside at the lakefront. Freezing at O'Hare and 33 at Midway, 34 in Gary and 36 in Aurora. These temperatures are going to be dropping big time as we head into tonight even. Before we do that, though, this evening, that's when the snow arrives, 3:45 to 4, starting to see more snow move in. So don't be surprised if you're driving home this evening and you have drops in visibility or slick spots set to develop on the roadways. We'll take a look at your full 7-day forecast, including our very cold start to the week next week ahead.
Okay, thank you, Caitlin. It is 12:21 on your Friday. Growing concern today about measles. Public health officials say cases are growing nationwide.
Their renewed push to get people vaccinated.
Also, whole milk is making a comeback in schools across the country. Up next, why it is benefiting farmers here in Illinois.
Start your weekend.
The Trump administration is making milk in school cafeterias whole again, you could say. President Trump signed the Whole Milk for Healthy Kids Act, bringing whole milk back to school cafeterias for the first time in years.
Oliviana Colmes is live in Mulberry Grove and spoke to some dairy farmers. Oliviana, I'd imagine that these farmers are pretty excited about this news.
Yeah, Anthony, Natalie, I'm just a little bit south from you guys here in Mulberry Grove. I just talked to dairy farmers here. They're excited, and they say even though it doesn't trickle down right away, even if it doesn't, rather, this is a big win for the dairy industry.
More people are drinking milk again after years of decline.
Whole milk sales have climbed from about 1.6 billion units sold to nearly 1.8 billion.
We service a lot of coffee shops, and whole milk's our #1 seller into those coffee shops because that's what makes the best latte.
People should feel good about how milk is produced.
Michael Turley owns Rolling Lawns Farm. He says this move falls in line with what he's been seeing, people wanting real food.
We've been, as a dairy industry, making whole milk for a century, and it's still the most simple, pure product that we can produce.
And now whole milk and 2% milk are options in school cafeterias again. President Trump just signed the Whole Milk for Healthy Kids Act into law, rolling back an Obama-era school nutrition rule limiting schools to low-fat and fat-free milk.
Skim milk doesn't taste great, and when you put it in a half-pint gable-top carton, which we've been drinking milk out of for decades and decades, we're introducing the kids to an inferior product, and it's all taste for them, right?
The milk can leave the farm and be in bottles ready to go to the store in about 3 hours.
Just down the road at Rocky Road Dairy, one farmer says whole milk can make a real difference for kids.
About 30 gallons of pasteurized milk.
To be able to consume that fuller fat milk will really help them to feel more full longer, because some kids, what they get at school is about the only meal they get that whole day.
The USDA is already sending guidelines to school districts so they can start offering whole milk right away. I'll send it back to you guys.
All right, Oliviana, feel free to stop on by the station. The door is open. Public health officials issuing a new warning about a growing number of measles cases. More than 170 infections have been confirmed in nearly a dozen states, according to new CDC data. Among the nationally confirmed cases, the CDC says about 95% occurred in people who are unvaccinated or whose vaccination status is unknown.
The best way to protect yourself from measles is to be immunized. Most of us were vaccinated as children, but we encourage folks to check their immunization records and make sure they're up to date.
The agency currently recommends 2 doses of the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine. The first round of vaccines should be given to children ages 12 to 15 months, and then again between 4 and 6 years old.
All right, apparently the key to living longer could be just a slight change in your daily physical activity. New research says adding 5 minutes of exercise and 30 minutes less sitting each day could help millions of folks live longer. The study, led by the Norwegian School of Sport Sciences, examined 135,000 people from the U.S., the U.K., Norway, and Sweden, and found that moderate daily activities like a brisk walk, housework, or gardening for an extra 5 minutes a day was associated with a 10% decrease in deaths. Findings also showed reducing sedentary time by 30 minutes a day was also associated with an estimated 7% drop in deaths.
Shark teeth getting weaker. A study performed by German scientists found more acid in the ocean is wearing their teeth out. Their teeth are critical, obviously, for allowing them to regulate populations of fish and marine mammals. Scientists have linked human activities like the burning of coal, oil, and gas to the increased absorption of acid by ocean water.
All right, coming up, the anticipation is building, everybody. A little more than 48 hours away from the Bears' divisional round matchup against the Rams.
Our experts talk about whether the cold will be an advantage for the Bears on Sunday.
You're watching the home of the Bears.
Welcome back. Happy Friday afternoon, everybody. Here's a look at some of the top stories we are following for you here at noon.
Cicero police say they have arrested someone for the shooting death of 17-year-old Johan Adarve Sanchez. Sanchez was killed on January 8th. He was a student at Morton East High School. Police say the suspect is also 17, but not a Morton East student. Investigators say the shooting happened because of a fight between rival groups of teams.
We are just 2 days away from Bears-Rams. Yep, the divisional playoff game at Soldier Field. If the Bears win, they will move on to the NFC Championship. Last time they made it this far was in 2011.
Fingers crossed,
yes.
And toes as well. And it's unseasonable, or it is seasonable right now, but it will be frigid when the Bears take the field on Sunday. Seasonable, that's right, at 32 degrees. I double check that.
Right, yeah. January can give us really, really frigid temps. And that is going to be the case on Sunday, correct, Caitlin?
Just for the Bears. Yes. And by the way, another tidbit, Natalie, we learned this as well. You got to paint your nails before the Bears game with the Bears colors. Or get them done, maybe. Yes, go Bears.
All of these things. All right, got it. Be loud, paint your nails.
Knock on some wood, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, talking about the forecast. Today, it actually feels pretty good. As Natalie mentioned, seasonable. We're in the 30s. We're going to be in the mid to upper 30s, but we do have some wintry weather with snow involved. So light snow possible right now. I'm talking about snowflakes here or there, but I wanted to show you the big picture because we have more snow loading up to our west, and this area of snow is going to continue to push east, bringing us the potential for some more slick roads as we head on into your evening commute. So right now, again, you might see a snowflake, but we aren't going to have much for accumulation, if at all. You might see some dusting out there from earlier this morning, and it could be blowing around. So watch out for drops in visibility, especially when the snow picks up later on this evening, along with the slick roads. Right now, we're sitting right at freezing with that west-southwest wind at 11 miles per hour. Around the area, we're seeing a good mix of the 30s. Some of you are in the upper 30s. It's 37 degrees in Joliet as well as Morris, 35 in Kankakee, 34 in Gary as well as in DeKalb. So the temperatures, they are feeling pretty nice compared to what's to come. Already this evening, we're dropping down into the 20s. So here's your next 48 hours. So again, 7, 8 o'clock, temperatures are going to be at around freezing still. But then we're down to around 26, 24 by 1 a.m. and early tomorrow. Temperatures are going to be in the teens, mid-teens to start off your Saturday. Saturday morning, 7 a.m. If you go for your walk early, no, it's going to be 15 degrees outside. Then in the afternoon, around 20 as our high, we have the chance for a few light areas of snow around, both Saturday and on Sunday, which would be great as well for the Bears game. But the bigger story this weekend isn't going to be the snow, it's going to be the cold. So talking about the futurecast, we have that chance for a little bit of snow this evening until about 10 or 11. Then dry skies will return as those temperatures plummet. And as we head into the weekend, many dry hours, but it is going to be a chilly weekend with that potential for some snow, especially in the afternoon. Saturday, and then on Sunday, the chance for snow is back in the afternoon, but temperatures are going to be pretty stagnant as far as highs go this weekend, around 20 both on Saturday and on Sunday. So for the Bears game, I do expect temperatures are going to be hovering in the upper teens to low 20s during the game. But the feel-like temperature is going to be down into the single digits. So it is going to be very cold. Then we work our way into early next week. I've been teasing this all show because I expect our high on Monday to be in the single digits to around perhaps 15 as our high. Then we're down to 2 as our low, up to 20 on Tuesday, and then we're back to the 30s by Wednesday. So cold air is staying in place for us in Chicago. That wintry weather is returning this weekend into next week. Back to you.
Thank you, Caitlin. The Bears, the Rams, and fans are all bracing for the cold on Sunday.
Doctors are saying it can be dangerous, and the city has put out a warning here as well. Say Kwan is here in the newsroom with more on this. Say.
Hey, good morning, good afternoon to you guys. Obviously, we're talking about cold temperatures. You just saw Caitlin's 7-day forecast. If that doesn't tell you what it's going to look like, of course, we're going to get all into this. We've obviously been blessed with milder weather in recent weeks, but it all takes a turn just in time for the big game at Soldier Field this Sunday. As we all know, this cold weather isn't really enough to keep Bears fans from showing their team some love. In fact, the city actually put out an advisory this morning encouraging visitors to dress warmly and in layers. With that in mind, if you are heading out to Soldier Field this Sunday, just a reminder that you can wear battery-operated clothes to keep yourself warm. So think of those electric kind of gloves that people wear. You can also bring blankets. Now, if you need hand warmers, you can buy them inside the pro shop. And also make sure to take advantage of those warming centers. They're placed all throughout the stadium. We did speak with a local expert this morning about the real dangers of cold weather, and he also provided some tips to help you stay warm and safe.
Like, frostbite is a thing we worry about most as emergency medicine physicians. The big thing is we want you to be prepared. Prepared is going to be the key to keeping you from getting frostbite and having injury. That starts with your dress, but that also starts with making sure that you're pre-hydrating before you go to the game. We want you to have a good meal and drink with lots of fluids, preferably water and electrolyte-based fluids before going to the game. That's very important.
Yeah, you heard some tips there. Also, always just a good reminder to bundle up this time of year. And hopefully, guys, this cold weather will give the Bears a little bit of advantage over the Rams this weekend as well.
Hopefully.
Anything we can get. Thank you so much, Say.
Fingers crossed. All right, we had to get Lou Canellis' take on this whole topic.
Yes, he says the cold will be, we really can't talk enough about it, a big advantage for the Bears.
Listen, there's 53 guys on the roster for the LA Rams. So maybe it doesn't affect Matthew Stafford, but Puka Nacua? Okay, I'm sorry, Hawaii kid, all right?
Yeah.
It's going to be below 0 with the wind chill. It's going to be really cold out there at Soldier Field. So I feel that, yes, weather will be a factor. Yes, all week long, the Rams have been practicing in L.A. where it's been 82 degrees. Last week, they played in Carolina where it was 70+ and people were golfing. And the Bears have been practicing at Hallis Hall this week. And again, kudos to Ben Johnson and his staff. He said, no heaters on the sidelines during practice. Get used to it because we're looking for whatever advantage we can get against this Rams team that is the most explosive offense in football.
That is interesting that the Bears get to decide whether the opposing team has heaters on the sideline.
Hey, why would they ever say, oh, yeah, go ahead. Be
Right.
comfortable. No, no.
Wow. Okay, if you're still looking for a place to see the game, you're in luck. Coming up in 15 minutes, Jake Hamilton going to take us to a really cool spot in the Loop that still has a ton of space available.
All right, Sports Buzz in Chicago, all about the Bears right now. However, there will be plenty of Cubs fans downtown this weekend. You're going to see a lot of blue and red. The annual Cubs convention got underway today. This is happening at the Sheraton Grand Chicago through Sunday. A weekend pass for season ticket holders costs $100, and non-season ticket holders you can pay $125. Kids ages 3 to 10, $80, and if you have a little guy or gal under 2, they will get in for free. And we had a good feeling Kyle Tucker wasn't coming back to the north side. Now it is official. The outfielder reportedly just signed a 4-year, $240 million deal to go to the Dodgers. Tucker was an all-star in his only season in Chicago, but his numbers did dip during the second half of the year due to injuries. The Dodgers continue to load up as they come off a second straight World Series title.
I don't want to hear about it.
No, they got deep pockets.
Anything out of the state of California, please.
No.
Wall Street powers banks to a record year. A recall of many fridges also expanding. Verizon customers sound off, and an iconic chocolate brand gets a makeover.
Oh, all right, we're going to have all that and more up next in today's business headlines.
Let's talk about stocks. Let's take a live look at the New York Stock Exchange right now. The Dow is up 29 points. Keep in mind here, traders are working to keep up with new proposals from President Trump. Today, he floated new tariffs in a push to acquire Greenland.
Keep you posted on that, but for now, it's time to take a look at the rest of our business headlines with CJ Papa.
Wall Street's biggest banks delivering nearly $600 billion in revenue last year. Trading revenue leading the charge. With a record $134 billion haul, execs saying the setup remains ideal for more gains ahead. A recall of Frigidaire mini fridges sold at Target expanding to nearly 1 million over fire hazards. The fridges have electrical components that could short circuit and ignite. They were sold between 2020 and 2023. Verizon facing backlash for offering a $20 credit to customers affected by a 12-hour outage. The company saying this credit isn't meant to make up for what happened. No credit really can. But it's a way of acknowledging your time and showing that this matters to us. But customers calling it pathetic, a joke, and an insult. Another threw a dig at the company's old commercial saying, "Can you hear me now?" No. Okay, here's $20. And Hershey has increased its marketing budget by 20% to fund the brand's first new ad campaign in 8 years. The 125-year-old chocolate brand will be using both traditional and streaming TV, but also marketing platforms like influencer campaigns on TikTok, live events, and activity around big events, like this year's Winter Olympics. That's business. CJ Papa, Fox Chicago.
Our noon show is going to be wrapping up here in just under 20 minutes, but Chicago Live is just getting started.
Anita Blanton standing by with a quick look at what is ahead for her. Hi, Anita.
Happy Friday, guys. Yeah, we have a lot to get into between 1 and 3 p.m., so let's dive right in. In our 3 o'clock hour, I'm talking to a Colorado man who started a group that helps organize millions of people across the country. In fact, they are bringing the No Kings movement back here to Chicagoland this weekend to a site that was really at the center of protests during the height of Operation Midway Blitz. That is the ICE Processing Center in Broadview. So in our 2 o'clock hour, we all know Chicago is the best sports town in the U.S. Sure, most of our conversations right now surround what's going on, this magical ride we're all on with the Bears, especially ahead of their big upcoming game. But there really is something for everyone here. Athletes playing at a high level in a number of sports right now. Major League Table Tennis will be at Compass Arena all weekend long. Olympians, internationally ranked table tennis players from Major League Table Tennis, including the Chicago Wind, the Texas Smash, New York Slice, and the Florida Crocs. So I'm excited to be talking with the founder of that league. And in our first hour, we are digging deeper into the Bears stadium debate. We know Soldier Field will be rocking this weekend on Sunday, but Indiana is going to make any decision from the Bears to stay in Illinois as hard as possible. I'm going to be talking with the CEO of the South Shore Convention and Visitors Bureau about rolling out the red carpet to welcome more fans their way. See everyone online between 1 and 4 p.m. today for another day of Chicago Live. I'll send it back to you for now.
Let the negotiations continue for the Chicago Bears. Anita, thank you so much. We'll be right back after this.
From his church in Atlanta to the state.
The Neighborhood Parents Network is celebrating 45 years. It connects Chicago parents with private schools and summer camps. And this weekend, the nonprofit is hosting its Winter Fair and Summer Camp Fest.
And right now, we are joined by Amy Johnson. She is the executive director of the Neighborhood Parents Network. And Ella Galvin, she's a volunteer at a place called Camp Kesem, which we'll learn about in just a moment. But Amy, I want to start with you. Can you tell us what this network does and exactly how parents can take advantage of it this weekend?
Sure. NPN helps families, we help make it easier for families to raise their kids in Chicago. We're known for helping families find childcare, research schools, navigate developmental differences, and get parent-to-parent support.
And Ella, tell us a little bit about the camp. This is one of the programs, I assume, that's going to be featured at this fair that parents can attend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Camp Kesem is a national organization that was founded in 2000 at Stanford by a group of students who felt like children whose parents have had cancer or currently are receiving treatment or have passed away were sort of an underserved and underrepresented community. And so now there's chapters at colleges around the U.S., and I'm at Northwestern as a counselor.
That sounds great. And so you're going to be represented at the fair this weekend. You'll have a way to connect.
Yes, somebody will be.
Somebody will be. All right, Amy, tell us about the fair. A lot of us, it's actually kind of already here, even though the summer is a few months away. We're starting to already angle for those camps. Hey, where are you going? Where are your kids going? And getting those plans underway. So what's happening this weekend?
Yeah, that's true. There are so many options in Chicago, it can be hard to wade through that. So we're inviting families to come, have a day of play. There's lots of activities to do at the fair. And while you're doing that, you can connect with schools and camps that could become really important in your life.
Can you talk about some of the unique options for parents?
Yeah, so the event opens with an opening performance from students at the Chicago Academy for the Arts, and they have a summer program for middle school students. So this fair is good for families with kids from 0 through, even 18 if you want to come and talk about summer jobs at some of these camps. But also there are art and music activities led by the Bubbles Academy teaching artists. There will be a hot chocolate bar and snacks so you can, help yourself too. And there'll be tabletop games and activities in the exhibit hall, and maybe to top it all off, Swift Nature Camp in Wisconsin, Sleepaway Camp in Wisconsin. They are bringing their camp pig, Bubba the pig. Will be there for belly scratches and belly rubs and ready to say hi.
Yeah, that is quite a unique variety of things, I would say.
That for sure. I want to ask Ella one more question about Camp Kesem here. You mentioned a kind of a nationwide thing, but tell us a little bit more about the local opportunities for kids, age ranges, the timing on this, and some of the main activities you love.
Yeah, for sure. So we serve children around age 6 through 18, and it's very common for high school students, once they graduate, if they do go to a college that has a chapter, to then become volunteers. Cool. So it really is like a lifelong community that you're becoming part of. And it's not, I think a common misconception is that people think these kids come here and they talk about their experience nonstop and it's sad, but it really is actually just an opportunity for children in this community to have this shared experience and still be able to have like the joy of a regular, normal summer camp. They can talk about it if they want, but it really is centered around like just having fun, swimming.
What a great
playing games.
opportunity there, yeah.
Amy, Ella, thank you so much for your time and best of luck at the camp fair this weekend.
We'll have all the information on how to get there, the hours on our website. Amy and Ella, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Really appreciate it.
That's right, guys. If you are starting to panic because you don't know where you're going to watch the Bears game on Sunday, guess what? We're out here at Recess in the West Loop, and they got you covered. Not just food, not just drinks, not just the vibe. More importantly, they got room for you.
You're watching the home of the
Welcome back. Not all of us are lucky enough to watch the playoff game at Soldier Field on Sunday.
Lucky enough, rich enough, have friends in high places,
Right.
all of those things. But luckily for us, Jake Hamilton has a great watch party to check out.
That's right, guys. If you are starting to panic because you don't know where you're going to watch the Bears game on Sunday, guess what? We're out here at Recess in the West Loop, and they got you covered. Not just food, not just drinks, not just the vibe. More importantly, they got room for you. Jesse Filkins, a beverage director. Jesse, first and foremost, before we talk about any of this, it's important to emphasize you guys have room for people on Sunday, which not a lot of places around the city of Chicago can say.
100%. So we have tables that have filled up with reservations, but we have so much room. We're activating our City Hall side, so it's a first come, first serve basis. Come in there, watch the game. Food's going to be amazing. Drinks are going to be amazing. The vibe is going to be so high.
And you know what's funny is that there's not a bad area, whether you're in this room or you're in City Hall next door, because they are connected. There's not a bad place. 16 televisions in this room alone. In City Hall next door, we were in there in the 7 o'clock hour, 2 different 14-foot screens. So no matter where you're at, you can see the game.
Not a bad seat in the house, whether you're in this room or the other room. From last Saturday, there was a big vibe, big pops, huge. Everybody's cheering on the Bears. Everybody's eating the great food, and everybody's having some drinks.
Now, in addition to just showing the game and having the food and having the drinks, you guys have some cool things going on this Sunday that make it a little bit more special. This is not just a normal Sunday. It's not just a normal Bears game. So you've got some things going on that kind of match the heightened importance of this day.
100%. Divisional round playoff game, Bears versus Rams. We're going to have food specials. We have some recess tailgate specials, pizza and some other items. We have some bucket specials. We're also going to be having some giveaways, right? So we have some jerseys to give away. We have the little spinny wheel. That's always fun to do, just even if you're not even playing. But we do have some fun stuff to give away with that.
Is it just kind of like a show up and, you know, every 20, 30 minutes you guys will kind of be announcing something fun, something cool, just kind of show up, post up, and kind of find out what's happening?
Of course. We also, if you get one of the tailgate specials, automatically entered in to win a jersey, and then we'll have some spins for guests that are at the table, and it's going to be so much fun. Also a DJ playing music in between the commercial breaks, so there's no dull in excitement.
Food, drinks, vibes, more importantly, space. They got it all out here. Recess West Loop, the perfect place for your Bears watch party. Sending it back to you guys in the studio.
Jay, I was impressed at the size of that place. It was huge. Fox Chicago, your destination for coverage of the Rams and Bears on Sunday. Bears Game Day Live starts at a special time, 12:30. And then once the game ends, we'll have post-game reaction with Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, and we'll go inside the locker room.
All right, we're about to wrap up here at 1 and hand it over to Anita up on our digital channel. But we will be right back with one last check of the weather after this short break.
Hi, I'm attorney.
A woman from Vandalia is celebrating before the Bears take the field this weekend. She won $3 million on the Illinois Lottery's $30 Royal Riches scratch-off ticket. The woman, who obviously wants to remain anonymous, she's got a sign in front of her face, says this was all thanks to a last-minute change in plans on Christmas Eve. She says she originally planned to buy a ticket at another store. It was closed for the holidays, so she went to a Phillips 66. Woman says when she scanned the ticket, she thought the machine was broken, but it was